You know, we take a lot of pride here at Channel 3 with bringing you local coverage. Local is kind of the center of everything that we do, and we're not alone in that focus. Jay Kennamer, Brent Burks are here with the McMahan Law Firm. For them, too, it's all about local. So we're talking about local connection and really protection that you have for your clients here this morning. So good to see you.
Good to see you, Julie.
Am I right, though, in saying that the market kind of has broadened, it feels like, a little bit?
Things have changed a lot. I think it was the 1970s, the U.S. Supreme Court said lawyers could advertise, right? And obviously Jay and I advertise. And, you know, I started here in 1994, Red Bank graduate. He started here. He started in Huntsville and then Chattanooga right after that, also in the 90s, Baylor graduate. But we would go to the courthouse and we would see almost all the same lawyers. Most of them become our good friends. Mm-hmm. And yet it's competition. Local competition makes us all better. But now, you can drive up and down. If you drive down Amnicola Highway the other day, there's maybe 5 billboards from an Atlanta lawyer. Looks like he's not 30 years old. And it's concerning to Jay and I because what we see is these people maybe don't really have a presence here, an empty office or a paralegal, or maybe a brand new lawyer. But it's not the person that's on that advertisement. They're not going to get those people. So it's really a bait and switch. And they're really just wanting to take the easy cases and say, let's just settle it for whatever we can get as quick as we can get it. But if there needs to be a legal fight, do they really have the know-how to do that? Or are they making mistakes that's hurting the public? And that's our message today for the public. Be careful.
Okay, so before we get into the weeds a little bit, let me give kind of a hypothetical. So let's say somebody's watching and they have seen that billboard on Amnicola and they were recently in a car accident. That's kind of a typical thing. And they have a bit of an injury. Well, if they contact that attorney, that office might settle it quickly in what could be a $75,000 claim. They settle for $25,000, they take their third, and the client's left with next to nothing. Is that right?
That's a typical scenario.
Okay.
We've taken several claims over where people, and it was an average of about 4 weeks, that someone had made the mistake of calling an out-of-state billboarder, realized that they were lost in the system. Then they call us. Well, now we've lost 4 weeks of investigation, getting the, trying to collect everything, get the file set up correctly. We did fix things, and like just this weekend, a wonderful example. An out-of-state solicitor firm that tried to solicit a lady a couple of days after a wreck. I don't know how they got their information that quickly, but I'm going to find out. Committed 4 acts of malpractice in one claim, and I'm taking this claim. We're going to start looking at legal malpractice claims because, let's face it, these billboards are cheap and they're littering our skyline. We have made the decision not to do it. We're board certified. We're not billboard certified. We want people to look behind the billboard and realize they may only have a 3-year-old attorney or an empty office even. Mm-hmm. One of these out-of-state billboarders, I went and looked at their office. It was a vacant room with a business card taped to the door.
Like a John Grisham movie.
That's right.
So let me ask you this, Brent. You said it wasn't until the 1970s that the Supreme Court said that lawyers could, in fact, advertise. To a lot of us, that's a head scratcher of, gee, why not? But then when you begin to break it down, it makes some sense because you could potentially prey on people at their most vulnerable. And to hear you talk about this case that you got over the weekend, it sounds like that's kind of what happened because the solicitation is kind of a no-no, right?
Well, someone can claim that they're the most gargantuan firm in the world, but they only have little pods here and there and not even have an office here. In Chattanooga, we are the largest here. Mm-hmm. And we do have an army. And
does some of it come in, if you have a legal case, is part of what you're going to need to have is some patience, because certainly you want to get the justice you deserve, but it doesn't always come quickly.
No, it doesn't always come quickly, and most times what happens is it does take time, and it takes a rapport, a trust with your lawyer, and that's what we're losing in the shuffle now. Jay and I advertise on this station, other stations. We've always been big about TV. Google, you have to do it. We don't do billboards because, once again, we're board certified. We're the only two that they're really going to see on TV commercials on this station or other stations that have that board certification. Less than 2% of Tennessee attorneys have that. And so it's a badge of honor, it's a badge of excellence. But what you want, what's getting lost in the shuffle is you can come sit down at our office and meet with me for an hour, Jay an hour, 2 hours, whatever it takes. Get to know us, ask us questions about your case, about cases similar to that we've handled. And that's a big difference. Some of these law firms, as Jay said, they're going to handle that case out of Atlanta or maybe Nashville. And to me, that's scary because you're losing that attorney-client relationship, that trust.
Right.
And, you know, the client needs to know that the lawyer is looking out for their best interest, as in the client's, not the bottom line dollar. And that might mean filing a lawsuit. It almost always nowadays means filing a lawsuit and working the case towards trial. And that's where our expertise can make a difference to people. And that's the message we'd like to get across. Beware, bait and switch, and shiny billboard.
Less than a minute left. Beware the word settlement. You mentioned about going to trial.
Settlements aren't bad in itself, but the settlement needs to be fair and it needs to be commensurate with what we think will happen if a jury of 12 were to hear the case. And so it's case by case, and that's where the trust and the experience comes in. 30 plus years experience here in Hamilton County and the surrounding. I think I've tried cases in 10 Tennessee counties. And Jay's in the same boat, including Georgia and Alabama.
Then let me show people how they can get in touch with you, because you're not going to see it on the billboard. You have to see it right here.
That's right.
It's the McMahan Law Firm. They're right down the street from us, actually, this beautiful, pretty new building on Cherokee Boulevard. 933-1733, McMahanLawFirm.com is the website. 10 attorneys, 3 of them board certified. Is that right?
Yes.
That's correct.
You'll find them there.